I had this other place and getting a lot of people. I'm trying to read them. Did not do that the past couple days. It's all right. Just down quick, not back. Columbus. It's okay.
No.
Happy to be back.
So.
So the close connection. This is not. It was. Sorry.
There you go. Do it.
So it's just, so we're like, if you go to bigger careers, this one is an organization at the end, for especially for retailers. Okay. So it's a little bit smaller. Low question, and I felt like it was okay, but. I mean, I mean, we're ready, like at this point, you're right, and stuff for fourth quarter, I'm like, well, that's great, but it's not gonna really affect us. Yeah. It's okay. Curious. Yeah, cream with a little coffee. Yeah.
Sunday.
Should we call the meeting to order?
Morning, everyone.
Morning.
Roll call. Jody Eubank,
Here.
Matt Bugera,
Here.
Amy Gillard,
Here.
Nikki Law, Cora Smith, here, Rocky Baydoun,
Here.
Rachel Morford, Sarah Eschelbrenner, here, Gail Brown,
Here.
I guess Ella Reddy has completed her term with us, so no longer be.
We have a quorum.
We do.
We have a quorum. We need to approve 3 sets of meeting minutes. First is the regular meeting from the 10th of May. I did read the meeting minutes. Does anybody have any questions or comments or make a motion to accept the May 10th regular meeting?
Make a motion to accept.
Support.
Anyone opposed? Motion carried. How about the closed session meeting minutes? Any questions? Changes? Motion. I know you saw, you all just got them.
Yeah, we were reading quickly.
I make a motion to accept.
Sarah made a move. Sarah.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'll second.
Okay.
Anyone opposed? And the special meeting on the 31st. That we had. Any questions or changes?
No, I can have a motion to accept that as well.
Support.
Anyone opposed? Okay. Just a reminder that we, as public comment, there's 2 portions of public comment. The first will be public comment for anything that's not on our agenda today. Public comment at the end will be on anything we discussed today. Any public comment? Henry?
But we are doing downtown parking. We are losing an officer this Sunday, so we're gonna be at minimum staff pretty much all summer. But we will do parking probably 2 or 3 blocks at a time, every day. But it won't be because we can't chalk, so it's still a challenge. But we are doing parking.
Sorry to hear you're losing somebody.
So we have a posted, we'll see what happens.
We're moving to the public information part of this meeting.
Okay, this is our first public information meeting of the year. Thank you all for joining us. And let me share this. Those of you on Zoom. Go ahead and share them. All right. There we go. So, just going to the background that we all have kind of been through, and you know, you all have, the Harbor Springs DDA was created in 2012. And that was in a ordinance number 180 that was in accordance with the Public Act at that time, Act 197, on establishing the downtowns. It then was amended with the 2018 Public Act 7, and we have just recently done a renewal this past year, renewing both the TIF and the development plans for from 2023 to 2038. And so we're operating now with a new plan and some new projects. I'll know the purpose of the Downtown Development Authority is to enhance and create and impact economic changes in the downtown. So what do we have here for our financing options? We have financing options, our tax increment financing, millage, special assessments, revenue bonds, and revenues from property owners or leased by the DDA, donations and grants to the authority, and contributions from the local unit of government. Right now, we only operate the revenues that we generate are through special assessment, and our projected TIF capture for 2023 will be around approximately $94,465.35. That is only a projection at this point, but as you can see, we are increasing greatly over these last few years. We do receive about $5,000 in event income from our Ice Fest, and that's pretty much our main sources of funding. As you can see, from 2018 to 2022, our there we go. In 2018, when we first established the TIF, our revenue was only $6,000, just over $6,000. In this past year of 2022, we've now increased to $89,967.90 for this year. So you can see we've made a great progression. We started, I believe, at our original tax base was $31 million, and we are now up over, I think, 43 million in our assessment for the district. You can see our growth from 2018 to 2023. Our current budget, this is where we're year to date for 2023. We had budgeted $62,000 and then $46,000 for the special assessment. We will be surpassing that amount. I mean, you know, as we finish out the year, as we've discussed, we don't start receiving our tax revenue until summer the tax roll. So that's why you're seeing that amount at this point. Most of our expenditures so far have been wages, and then our event. We have had a little bit higher amount spent on some legal fees on some of and then contractual services on some of the projects that we're working on. So, and then that's where we are as far as our beginning fund balance and our ending fund balance this year to date. So, we will be surpassing that with the ink capture. So when we talked about the DDA plan and the infrastructure or the improvements that we were going to be doing, that we outlined in the TIF plan and the development plan, we kind of created a few sections of improvements, infrastructure, recreation, and facilities. The streetscape project is on hold at the time, but we are doing sidewalk maintenance. We are working ongoing with lighting and working with both Parks and Rec and the other city departments on some of these other projects. Another area of improvement that was addressed in the development plan was the Main Street Gardens, and which were planted already this year. Downtown enhancement, our main project at this point is Merchants Walkway redesign and renovation, the Third Street lighting, and then the downtown lighting projects that we completed in 2022 with giving uniform lighting throughout the downtown on the globes. We've continued another area, and that was programs that we outlined. Our main focus of programs and events is the Ice Fest, but we're also looking to establish some other programs that we can come up with to enhance and improve the downtown. And then the third area was services, and those we continue to provide to the city as marketing and promotion of the central business district. We serve as a liaison between the city staff, boards, and downtown business, and we continue with the wayfinding maintenance. So that's really where we've been focused over 2022 and 2023 on all these projects. We're moving forward with the Merchants Walkway. We continue with sidewalk maintenance. These are examples of the lighting and just the tree gardens and things that we have been working on over the past year, wayfinding, more lighting, and then the Harbor Springs Ice Fest. So continuing on with our social media promotion and promotion of business and events. So that brings me to the conclusion. I don't know if anybody has any questions about the public information that was presented.
We ask
Is there anyone on Zoom that has any questions? David, oh, he said he was all good. Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Moving forward.
We will move forward. Promotions. So motions, as we discussed at our last meeting, the DDA chose to sponsor some chamber events up to $500. And I spoke with Bonnie, and she is going to make us the premier sponsor of the sidewalk sales, and then just add us as an additional kind of a logo sponsor, for some of the other music events.
Friday night.
Friday.
We have the DDA logo on that. It's a hair shy left over but nobody really knows. But so you'll be a sponsor of the which actually, so we're giving you a little bit more since they pay for it, but we so appreciate it. Thank you.
We so appreciate the hair over what we.
No, it's awesome. And we've never had
Sidewalk
a
sales.
sponsor for sidewalk sales. And that's super helpful. It's always been a loss for the chamber. And to me, it makes such sense that the DDA be the sponsor. That's
Great.
Downtown enhancement.
So the Downtown Enhancement Committee met. And with the primary focus of discussing the OHM engineering and bid quote that came in. After I had received the quote from Vanessa, Jody and I met with her, and there were some revisions that we needed to be made, and then the Downtown Enhancement Committee met. Pull that up here. To the quote. Originally, they had not included the bid item of actually bringing the project to bid. We had a lot of discussion as to, because the quote came back higher than we expected at $20,000 or originally $19,000, and then we've now added the bid phase to it as well, so that they will handle all the bidding. But my recommendation and the recommendation, I think, of the committee is that we, even though quote is higher than expected, we want to engineer this properly and engineer it, correctly from the start, the entire project. And that one of the options would be, I think the main option would be to then bid it in phases, but to engineer the project as a whole. Any questions?
Anything from downtown enhancement?
We did remove the signs that were entering from Spring Street and Bay Street, the big archway signs. There was some, at the last meeting, some discussion as to whether those could be allowed, and that was actually a really pretty big engineering cost that Vanessa said was included by adding those. So she said our main engineering cost for that was, for the overall project, were the walkways and the walls. But we didn't want to engineer the walls after in another phase. It made sense to do that all at once. So the total for their services is $20,600. That will include all of the engineering from OHM, as well as the bid process for them heading that up. Any discussion?
We need to make a motion to approve that bid quote and the amount and the dollar amount for it. Anyone have any questions or like to make a motion?
Would you just remind me, is that all in line with what we were expecting? As we continue forward now, is it looking to?
It was definitely higher than expected.
But it was higher because we added more.
This is just for we haven't even figured out how much it's actually gonna cost us to do anything, so it's just the engineering quote for it.
Right.
So it's higher, but it's like you're saying, then we could phase out the rest of it and do it over the course, because it made more sense, but.
Okay.
And we would, we would use their discretion, their advice as far as how we'd phase out.
Yeah,
what would
right,
be the- yeah.
Would make more sense.
But you all are comfortable with where this is at this point in time with what's being offered and
Well, I
going
think,
down this path.
I mean, I don't think we have another option necessarily. I mean, I think that we talked about, I think starting over with benchmark wouldn't make any sense.
Right,
So I think that, and I don't think we can really take anything else out
right,
Yeah.
of what
Okay.
we want. So, I mean, so yes, I mean,
great.
short answer.
Yes, yes, no, that's
Rambling short answer here.
what we expected is
Yeah.
what we have
I think
moving
that,
forward.
as Vanessa said, I mean, and we talked about in the downtown.
I think we just have to mull over the shop even further,
Yeah,
like a
yeah.
lot larger.
Okay.
It's definitely going to be a much more expensive project than anticipated, but like it has grown in the scope of what it was. When we originally started looking at it, when Rocky donated the demolition of the fountain, and then we were just looking at doing the walkways, it was going to be a very, scaled back project. And since then it has grown in scale for sure. And, I think what Vanessa recommended is in the first phase, doing the walkways and the walls. And then maybe in the next phase, bidding out for next spring, possibly for the landscaping, possibly the fountain. But some of those things we talked about that in the committee, that are flexible as far as if we look at the cost of a fountain and it's just, extremely expensive, that may be something that may be, at least it's engineered in there with the water and the
So the option
utilities.
is there for later.
Yep, great.
But it may not be something that is chosen to be put in at that time.
Wonderful.
we'll have to make
There's
many more decisions.
Yeah, there's more
Yeah.
decision making, but you're headed down the right path because you want to do it right. Great.
So the cost, $20,600 is for design, engineering and construction management.
They will not be the construction management. I mean, I think they would be, I have to go back exactly. Yes, I think that would be an added service. I think she talked about if we wanted to keep them on as the project manager. But this bid right now is for all of the engineering costs and design.
The request for bids.
And then the bid phase and handling that completely.
It
And
does
all
stay in
the-
there that preparing archway design is still in there.
On the, I think just on the south side,
Okay.
maybe is what she's prepare and then plan. So I do think if we would go forward having them as the project manager, that would be an additional cost.
We did talk about, we did talk about leaving that in just to get a bid on one
Yeah,
walkway. So none of that has been approved. All we're approving today is that we would have them engineer the project
But I think
And-
that, oh, I'm sorry.
and just send out for
the bids for
bids.
us, yeah.
I think Vanessa's thinking was, especially if we were doing it in phases. And whoever was gonna do the contracting for, for the concrete and all of that would. Especially since that's just gonna focus on the walkway and the wall, probably they would be able to manage, that we might not need a project manager to come in on. Given the certain phases.
So let me put my 2 cents in. We already got we were part of a program on BidNet, so we can post it for free and get the bids in. That shouldn't be a cost. We got to have a construction manager. It just seems like it's getting a little bit out of control, because if you don't have a construction manager, then who's going to verify the work that they're doing, whether it meets the plans and specification, design mix and all that?
I don't think we're even at the point where we are discussing a construction manager. We're discussing the engineering of it and to send it out for bids and to put that in a nice little package and present it to us so that we can filter through it and decide what we can and can't afford, or what phases, what we want to include in each phase. And then look towards the future and revenue versus expenses of this as well.
So do we have a finalized design
Yes,
and all the neighbors are on board?
we're not, the finalized design, correct me if I'm wrong, Margot, does not interfere with anything outside the scope of the landscape easements.
The only thing, and I've sent the concept design to the Nolans. They've not responded back to me. And that's the only thing is the walls and basically what we said was that if they said that they would not allow the walls to be improved or repaired, then we would have to leave the walls. As far as the walkway goes, being that it's a pedestrian easement, then the city has the right to go and responsibility to go in and make sure that that's safe and repaired.
So worst case scenario, we don't hear back from them, then we don't proceed with that area. Like, let's say, we get to.
So like
the point
With
where
the
it's
walls
completely
of their
engineered.
property.
Let's say it's completely engineered, we're ready to send out for bidding, and we still have not they still have not contacted us or reached out or, approved of anything, then we would bid out for just the walkway, not including walls.
Well, their wall.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Was there anything in the letter to them stating that please respond by such and such date?
I didn't give them a date, but I asked them to respond and let me, and then we told them that we would need, their written approval.
I think we should give a date, because that would, we just can't leave it open-ended like that. So we should probably follow up and give a date. Please respond by such and such. And if they don't respond, then you proceed.
Because I know we had talked about a rough timeline of when engineering could be completed and when we'd be ready to send out for bidding, so.
I think that as far as contractors go at this point, everybody's so booked up.
Yeah.
OHM didn't think that there was going to be anybody that would bid for anything sooner than fall.
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
2023. So that's, and of course, that's getting closer as we, each day, but I have reached out to them a couple of times, you know, and we can reach out again and give them a deadline, but, they have been contacted now more than once.
They say they're back in town, Nolan's are back in town.
Maybe
Still want to start
urge them
something.
to respond.
Just one last thing, I just want to say, my goal here is to save the committee money, the DDA as much money as possible, and I think we should get a breakdown cost. And we probably should also look at futuristic costs too and implement them, because, we don't want to keep overspending on this. The costs are keep adding up, and then it just makes the project unworthy.
A breakdown from OHM.
A breakdown for OHM, and if we can fill in and lower the cost in some way by posting it on BidNet, which again doesn't cost the DDA anything, whatever bids we get, we can turn them over to OHM.
So I
That's
don't
one
think that,
option.
I don't think it works that way though, right?
We can't pick and choose what we'll post.
Yeah, I don't know if we can post it, because I think we talked about that a little bit. I don't think we can post it and then have them handle it for us. And with Margot leaving, we were saying it would be nice to have someone who's handling that portion for us, because I know that all of us are extremely busy. Especially going into the summer months, and we had said that, at least in downtown enhancement, we had said it'd be nice to have hire them for almost the convenience of helping us along with this project.
No, I totally understand it. I think our original cost to build this thing was like 50 grand. Now we're gonna spend 20,000 on engineering, another 20,000 on project management. Where does it end? That's my thought about it, is that we probably should just slow that process down a little bit, review it, then implement it. With taking into advisement that's gonna be future costs and it's gonna keep adding up.
I think time will slow us down, no matter.
Because if we don't approve this right now, we don't meet again till August. And then they still haven't sent out bids, and then we might not be doing this until spring. So we might be pushing ourselves out.
And according to our DDA plan, we have to have projects. We
Well,
can't do.
part of the reason is the scope of the project changed. I mean, even we went from $50,000 because it was gonna be demolished and putting down that. All of the engineering is including the, the rain, the runoff, all of that, all the utilities, everything that is. And water utilities and electric utilities that are gonna be incorporated in the overall plan if we're gonna add lights and water and handle the drainage issue that is there. That's a big part of the engineering.
I think what may ask is, let's see if we can assist you with project cost. So which means you give me the plans for what they designed, we take it, we give you an estimate as what we think it's gonna cost you in the real world. It's not necessarily sent out for bid, but in a couple of weeks, we can have what the project costs, what the excavation would be, what disposal would be, what concrete would be. Maybe that would be helpful. So in the sense, we send it out for bid, get the project cost, turn it over to you.
I think we've worked with Vanessa, we've worked with OHM. I guess the question before the board right now would be do we want to go with Rocky's suggestion, which I think I would be mucking the waters between OHM and, yes, Amy.
And this is so not my area of expertise at all. But so this specifically is the infrastructure. This is laying down the plan. So no matter what the plan may be, all of the elements are possible have been engineered into it. That's what this is right now.
Correct.
Okay? So that's the plan, or that's what we need to vote on right now.
Correct.
Where we go with,
And yes, and I will say that I have.
planning can slow down and we could.
I contacted Benchmark. I sent them a I sent Benchmark, the concept drawing. And their response was what didn't fit in their purview? And that they suggested we reach out, go back to OHM, who we've been working with, or with another company like OHM, like Beckett and Rader, to get a quote on that for the engineering and that project. Benchmark was not willing to take this on, for their engineering process.
Because I think, and you probably discussed that in the enhancement committee also, was, Benchmark has done a lot of work for the city. And we certainly didn't want them to feel excluded from it.
Yeah, we can talk about that.
And so that kind of just went away by asking them, and they said,
yeah.
why don't you go with OHM? They've already started the whole process.
Yes.
And I agree, I mean, all of our conversations, like, we want to get it so that we can do something. And so this gets us there, and then we can, the actual construction costs, we don't know where that's gonna go or where we're gonna go with that.
So that being said, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, Margot, but Rocky's more than able to bid on this once it goes out for
Absolutely,
bid.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't say I wanted to bid on it. I did not say that. I would send it out,
He's saying that he would handle the bid process.
like the
And-
construction management of it, to verify that the bids are correct, that the product that they're putting in is correct. So
But I can say between the former quote and this one, with removing the one archway and then adding it, we only fluctuated about $1,000 by adding them doing the bid process. So at most, it's a couple $1,000s, on that, as far as most of the cost, the bulk of the cost is the engineering of the,
So in other words, we're still gonna have to pay for the engineering.
I think, that
Yes.
would be.
well, we gotta have a set of plans
Yeah.
and a specification, period.
And I think like, from what I'm getting from it, same thing, correct me if I'm wrong, because it's not my area of expertise. But I feel like the most helpful thing that you could do is you either provide services or help us find services for someone who would be a competent project manager for it. Whether it's something you would have the time or want to handle and give us a quote for it, or whether it's something that you could recommend someone to do it for us
But we still have to go,
in the future. I mean, I think
but we
that.
still have to have it.
No, I'm
engineered.
just saying,
Yeah,
oh, after this, I'm taking two separate things out of this and saying that I think that would be.
So all I'm trying to say is give me a set of plans that are stamped. That's it. If this is the budget for it, then we'll see how we can lower the cost by construction management, scheduling.
But by
And all
plans,
that.
I guess I'm a little confused, Becky. By plans, do you mean the fully engineered plans? Or do you mean what we have now as concept design? Those are two different.
We can't build it on concept design.
Exactly, so that's what
We have
we're trying to vote on
Yeah,
this.
go there, yeah.
So, but what confused me is that they will put it out for bid. That's what the confusion is. So if we can just have them design it, leave the bid separately to put it out.
Well, that's up to
Because
all of those.
for me, it's a conflict of interest to bid on something for my company when I'm also a person that votes. So what I'm doing is I'm volunteering our company services to assist the DDA to accomplish what it needs with a lower cost. That's it. I will
We don't
not be
necessarily-
bidding
So
on
I
the
guess-
project.
But we don't necessarily know that it would be a lower cost. I guess
I guess the motion would, or what the DDA needs to decide is whether to one, are you going to continue with moving forward with OHM doing the engineering and that process? And two, are you going to include the bid process with them or look to Rocky and his company to see if they could handle that?
So the motion we need before us now is, do we have OHM just engineer the project, or do we have OHM engineer and send it out for quote?
And or at all. I mean, maybe if
Yeah.
you're not at that point ready to say yes, either.
I think that in my opinion, we need to move forward. This has been it's been a long process to get to where we're at right now.
Absolutely. And I mean, if we don't vote on this, if we don't move it through, then we push ourselves in at least another 2 months, if not further.
Exactly.
So
And then we just meet and meet and meet until we make a,
Yeah, I mean. I'm happy to make a motion to have OHM handle engineering and the bidding.
I second. Anyone opposed?
I think you probably need a roll call on this one.
I think so, all right. Rocky Bacon,
Yes.
Jody,
Yes.
Yes.
Laura. Sarah. Yes. Matt.
Yes.
Yes. The motion passed. We move forward with OHM.
Retreat lighting.
Yes.
Thank you, development team. Or downtown enhancement team.
Yes.
Yeah.
As we discussed at the last meeting, the DDA board decided to go ahead with up to $2,400 in repairs for the Third Street lights. I did contact Alex from the State Lawn and Property Lighting Management Company. And he said that he would be out this month. I mean, I know people are pretty backed up, so I don't know whether he has been out yet to do those. I did give him a cap of $2,400 and he said that he would stay within that. So I don't know, those of you on Third Street, if you've seen any.
I'm not there at 10:30 anymore.
Okay.
I'm asleep at
Before I
10:30
leave
right now.
Before I leave,
Oh,
I
my
can
God.
give him a nudge and see if he'll be.
If not, I will not be a good person.
Margo, would you just make sure that, I mean, I'm sure you, that Victor and I get, like, yeah, so we can follow up on. Unless you'd like to stay on and volunteer and follow up on. RRC,
Jody?
we have not had a meeting since our last.
No, but we did wrap up from our joint city meeting. We did do a wrap up
Oh, yes,
last
thank
week.
you.
And you want me to go ahead with that? I can go ahead with that.
Yeah, please.
So we did meet last week to do a wrap up of the joint meeting. And what came out of that wrap up was it was recommended that someone write an article for the newspaper and ask for interested volunteers to join this new visioning committee, because Harbor Springs Area Visioning Committee, that would take a look at some of the issues that came up in that joint meeting and kind of just put some structure to that and see where we can go forward with some of those issues. That committee would be open to Harbor Springs and the surrounding area residents in the townships as well.
That letter was in the Harbor Light.
Right.
And we recommended the chamber take it on. Surrounding area. And we did also obviously agree that the participation and the attendance of, 60 to 75 people was definitely
I thought it was
a
great.
good showing.
I thought it was a great meeting.
Yes. Showing the unity between all the groups.
It was also showing forward thinking, I feel like, and kind of just, everyone was very open to topics that were brought up, which was very nice to see.
And very little negativity about anything.
Anything, which was really, really nice to see.
Refreshing.
Yes.
Yes.
It was very nice to see.
Margot, are you gonna give us a 3-year director update?
Gonna give you this. So we went to finances, but I will go to you real quick again, really quick. Again, as I mentioned, we're looking really good coming into the summer and our expected TIF capture. So that number, the budgeted amount, should be significantly higher, closer to 89,000. Again, major changes to have been wages, contractual services. We did have Benchmark do the elevations for the merchant walkway, and they did get those to me, so that is a cost that we don't have to do with OHM moving forward. Also, we have had some extended legal costs with the county TIF issue, and also regarding the merchants walkway and that. So our legal costs have gone up quite a bit from what we had budgeted, and they will continue to go up. Again, when we looked at downtown projects, we will be, we definitely have the money to do, I think, at this point, between our fund balance and what we have designated for the downtown projects for 2023, we should be able to do the bid project and also probably the first phase of that sidewalk and wall repair to the Merchants Walkway. Other than that, just pretty insignificant.
Which also, I think, when you talk about that again, one thing we have not just said was that that's a major safety issue, is getting that completed.
So moving on, the kiosk directories are finished. Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Gail.
That was a very tedious job. And I've spoken with Kevin from Simplicity. He's hoping to have them in by the end of this month, but he is very booked out too, and said it could possibly be after the 4th. We started this process in March, which was earlier than we have in the past. And we're still, because of just that whole time frame, still pushed out at this point where we are. So
I think that we can't really push back starting it earlier than March, because
you don't know what, sometimes new businesses or what their names are gonna be or what's gonna be there.
There's one new one now
Yeah.
that's going out in the fall.
I kind of feel like it's kind of gonna be one of those things where it's like and we could post this on our website, that if you want to be on the business directory, then we need to know by
Yeah, I was
The
gonna
end of
say, we just.
April or the end of May
Right.
to be included in this year. If not, please follow up with us, after the first of the year, and we'll make sure you're included. It's the deadline for a newspaper, it's deadline for anything that you want to be published in, or, because then we'll make sure we have the time to have it up, at least before the 4th. Which I think is the most important.
Yeah, and there has to be a point where, things change,
Things change,
we can't
yeah.
just wait and wait, like, there has to be
Yeah.
we're gonna make a deadline, and those who are in by then get posted, and if you're not, then next year.
So when did you really say, Gail, like, I can't do anymore? Like, what was
Getting in, because there's a lot of, I would check like with the 2 restaurants, one on Bay, the one on 3rd. I have someone and then it falls through, right? And then, so all of that, and no sooner it was done and I saw a sign on the salon on 3rd Street, they're going out in September.
Yeah.
So it's like,
So I think getting a hard deadline.
a hard deadline is a
Yeah,
good
is
idea.
probably the best, and if it changes after that, then it changes. And we got the edits to Cynthia, pretty early on, and it's taken, but going back and forth, that takes a little bit, and then getting into as soon as she sends it over to Simplicity, it's a matter of getting into line, I guess. And by that point, there's several others ahead of us that,
Yeah.
to print the maps and then have them installed. Their cost did go up significantly. This year, not Cynthia's cost was $225 for the redesign. I think that was pretty much in line with what she was at last year. Simplicity's cost to do the printing and the install is $2,018.10. This is a $400 increase from 2022.
Is Simplicity a local company?
They're in Traverse City,
Okay.
and they are the ones that have done all of the wayfinding signs.
Okay.
So that is a significant increase, but it is an important service to the downtown and the businesses.
Well, and everyone here knows that everything's going up.
Yeah.
Everywhere we look, so.
Printing costs?
So if we were to say that we had to like kind of give a deadline, when did you really get the engine to Cindy Shaw and what do you,
It's a good question. Has it been a month or I can't even
It's been a
remember.
few weeks since she got the final, I think the final, okay, this is the final, like, you know, it.
I would say if we start beginning of March and we have to have a deadline by the end of April.
that's what I was thinking, May first.
Deadline of May first.
May first,
Yeah,
yeah.
we turned it around completely in 2 weeks.
Okay.
All of it, everything with Cindy and
Whatever
all
it
the
was, it
proofs
was.
from Cindy, so it went to Simplicity mid-May.
Yeah.
It can be done in 2 weeks, it's less stress if you don't keep dragging it out, you're gonna miss things. Things change, but it can be done in 2 weeks.
I mean, I feel like, we start reaching out and then we would maybe do it for people who think they're changing, we can do a follow-up reach out and then we just say, this is the deadline and this is it. And, people can still be added to our online directory, obviously. And then after that, I mean, anything else that.
And I don't recall anybody ever coming in, except the chamber, who didn't realize they were already on there, but nobody actually said we weren't on.
When Cora
When I
started her
moved in.
path,
When I moved in.
probably one of the only ones that directly reached out to me and said, when she started her business, how do I make sure that I'm on the directory?
I walk by it every day too, so. I walk my dog by it once a day.
But that's just good business and we're just.
Absolutely,
And
100%.
on your part, and it's just gonna,
But I mean, I think that, yeah, anyone, and if I know of a new business is coming in, I mean, Ashley's
It's a
opening her
service
business and
that
I said the
you
same
know
thing, you wanna be on here.
It's a great service.
And I see people from my building, I can watch people looking at that
All day
all day
long.
long.
Yeah.
I think it's great, so.
so we will looking forward to a May first deadline.
And I wasn't here this time around, but I can help.
You did help me.
Well, I think Gail did a really great job of getting a new spreadsheet in place, and I think that will make things a lot
Cleaner.
easier.
Mhm.
And that did take a lot of time.
It does take
And, because before we were just making additions and changes and edits, and she really has come through with a whole,
Good.
spreadsheet on everything, which is great.
Thank you, Gail. Thank you very much.
You learned a lot, didn't you?
Oh, yeah. But I'm sensing that, this is my role next year. I've
You can
sensed
keep
that.
an eye on all the evolving
I know.
businesses, you know.
That is now your project until the end of time. Thank you, Gail.
And it really shows us what a diverse community we have. It's so much fun to learn about all things.
Awesome. Moving on to Main Street Tree Gardens.
The Main Street Tree Gardens were planted on May 24th. Thank you to everyone that came out. Still waiting to hear from the National Honor Society on their maintenance schedule. If they don't maintain them, I'm recommending that we don't make the donation to their organization.
Absolutely,
But,
whoever wasn't there does not know, they did not show up to help plant either, I don't know if it's probably like wires being crossed, but.
Yeah, so there's been a little confusion. And then just the last thing is that all the public bathrooms are now open for the season. You can let your customers know.
Can we get signs again, or is there?
I have the old sign. We can see if we can make some quick adjustment to it and see if that.
That would be
can get-
great, 'cause it's great to have those up in multiple places
I can-
again.
Question,
Do that.
did any of you have people
Okay.
come in and think that it was saying that that you were an establishment with a public restroom?
Nope.
Nope, I had people reading it and.
We got that all the time, and I was like, I don't know, am I reading this wrong?
Well, and I
Well, you're
think
also
part of
changing
it comes from Pulaski because their
The chamber.
chamber is connected to the public restroom there. Maybe that's, so they think that
It's
maybe you
it's
have
not
a.
in the chamber though, it's
They think
behind it.
You're the
Yeah,
chamber,
it's the-
this is
yeah.
that.
No, but multiple people,
Okay.
multiple, but I didn't read it that way, so okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
But you see, I see lots of people
reading it.
reading
Yeah,
it,
it's
so they
helpful.
were really helpful.
Yeah, Marco, I'm definitely happy to, if you wanna send me the document, I can.
I
make
can
the
send it
adjustments.
to you. I can also give you, I use Canva. I
That's
don't
fine,
know
if you can
and
put
I
it in
give you
EPS,
I can make you a team member on the Canva if you want to
Okay.
access it directly.
Okay, that's fine.
And which would probably be a good idea anyways to have somebody. know
I also
Rachel-
do have the website. I'm still an admin on the website as well.
And
For
so
everyone to know
Oh,
if any
so-
changes, I'm
so-
still an admin on the website as well.
as far as some of the smaller details, I did make Jody and Rachel Rune full admins on the downtown Facebook. I don't know if you were able to accept that and get that yet. I gave you an invite a while last week, but, okay.
Sometimes they expire if you don't do it.
They expire within like 25 days, so that's why
Oh.
but
I'll let you
so
know today.
Rachel does have also access to our Canva account.
Okay.
And I can add you, Cora, to
Okay.
be member to it too.
Because I'm happy to make those changes and get the emails out, and I don't know who you forwarded to last year, if it was just us, and then we
I actually
forward
went around to
Okay.
every business.
and asked them if they wanted to.
No, I printed out a sign for every business and.
And
gave
that's-
it to them.
I'm, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Other business, old business?
The only other business that I have is that there's no July DDA meeting. The DDA will meet again in August and Rachel has said that she would be willing to run the meetings until a new director is found.
Oh.
So she can get in touch with you. Tomorrow will be my last day.
We talked about board positions at the end of 2023. We will be looking for one.
Great.
Great.
Amy, Rocky, and Rachel are all, your terms expire in December of 2023. I know Rachel and Amy have both given me notice that they are not planning to continue on. I don't know, Rocky, whether that's something we need to think about.
My doctor wrote me a script to say no, but I can't seem to fill it. I keep saying yes, so, no, I'm still interested.
Amy has said that she would stay on the Ice Fest and Promotions Committee. Thank you for that. So I'll get together with Rachel and Victor. Just throw out some ditties, and I could do that on Facebook as well, that if you're interested. Are you aware of any actual resumes?
An
Nothing.
application.
Applications?
For my fund, none. So far. At least that's the last I heard. And that was earlier in the week. Maybe there was a mad rush. So.
As far as other business or old business, I think certainly the whole board would like to thank you for your dedication to your job and to Harbor Springs and the DDA downtown. I think it's if you all saw that if you haven't seen that on Thursday for an hour or so from 4:30 to 5:30 at the pier, we're gonna have, as in tomorrow.
That's wonderful. Just
We're gonna have, sorry.
No, I needed the clarification right now.
We'll just have a little send off for Margot.
And they'll be at the pier.
At the pier. Cash bar, a little bit of tastings, little foods. Anybody else? Anybody else for public comment about what we discussed, what was in our agenda today, what we discussed?
I have a couple of things if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Just want to check with Matt, any updates on the road construction? Like when it will be completed?
This one's almost done.
Yeah.
Supposed
Yeah,
to
they
be
just
done
put the
by-
guardrail up
Okay,
yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the black,
All landscape.
yeah, they're,
paved.
and
That one's next year,
next year?
next year,
Wow,
yeah. We're on the list.
okay, thank you. So we've had a Harbor Ice Cream Field Day event, pretty much every year. It's been very successful. I think last year we had about 20 kids. However, this year we're teaming up with Farmers Market on August 12th. So one question, I wasn't sure if I needed to come into city council and get approval for that, even though we're doing it at the same time as the farmers market.
Is it gonna extend beyond the farmer's market? Is
No,
it
it
the area?
shouldn't. It should be during, we're expecting probably about 800 kids. So what we're trying to do is create like a destination day in conjunction with farmers market, but we also want to invite other businesses if they want to participate. So,
Where do you plan on putting 800 kids plus probably
In the
another
zone?
800 parents?
Are you-
this is based on information from Hannah at Farmers
Yeah,
Market. That
absolutely.
she can, you know, they will expect about 800. So we'll utilize Zone Park for that.
So yes, you will need to do a event for on city property that goes through the Parks and
Okay.
Rec department, and that's just an application.
Yep, I'll work with Victor on that. And what we do is we give out prizes to all the kids, whether you win an event or not. So we will have ice cream eating contests, cake eating contest. I mean, we just want to create a destination day that really just keeps drawing people and
What
make
is
it
the date
into a
on
tradition.
August 12th, you said?
August 12th, correct. And that's a Saturday. But again, we would like to invite other business to participate and see what, if they can contribute something, which will go towards prizes for the kids and if they want to volunteer to handle a certain event, that'll be great. All I can tell you is I'm not doing the tug of war with superintendent of the schools.
Rocky, if you guys want, we have like small Tossie stones that are polished or well, they're oil coated. We could give up Tossie stones in little bags that explains what Tossie stone is if you don't, if that'd be helpful for prize or.
Oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I can definitely do that.
Yeah, we just want to make sure that they're all welcomed and not just because you lose an event, you don't have the strength, that you don't get an award. So
We'd be happy, we can put them in little Ziploc bags that have like an explanation of what a Tossie stone is. So just,
perfect.
you just let me know, and whatever you guys don't use, you can just drop back off, and
No, I really
Yeah.
appreciate it.
we'd be happy to
Thank
do
you.
that.
That's it for me.
Only one message from David Finley, and it was thanks for allowing me to join the first portion of today's meeting. Enjoy the day.
Anybody have anything else? Motion to adjourn? Anyone opposed? Heck no. The special meeting minutes, no.
Do you want to back?
Closed, yes.